Is your ego worth $35,000? For one Chinese tourist on a budget airline, apparently the answer was yes. Over a dispute involving a measly 600 yen seat fee, that's barely $4, this passenger threw a 2-hour tantrum that forced a flight from Japan to China to make an emergency U-turn. He thought he was fighting for dignity, but he ended up costing the airline millions and shaming an entire nation. Here is how a cheap ticket turned into an international embarrassment. You are watching China Uncovered.
You are bothering people. Say that again. Check your behavior. You are disturbing us. You're annoying everyone just for your own benefit. Don't shout at me. I haven't done anything wrong. It's entirely your fault. And you still want to deny it? On the evening of December 1, a shocking event took place on Spring Airlines Japan Flight IJ005, scheduled to fly from Tokyo Narita to Shanghai Pudong. About 1 hour and 40 minutes after takeoff, something unexpected occurred.
After boarding, the man tried to switch seats with a neighbor to sit by his companion, but the passenger refused. The man then asked the flight attendant for help, but she replied, "Sir, this seat requires an additional fee. You can either pay or return to your original seat." Theoretically, it was simple, pay or move back, but the passenger refused, claiming it was discrimination against Chinese people. His voice grew louder, emotions escalated, and he began verbally abusing the crew.
The chief flight attendant quickly approached and warned, "Sir, if you continue, we will have to report to the captain." But the passenger ignored the warning and even tried rushing toward the work area. Sources say the man argued with the crew for nearly 2 hours. Eventually, the captain made a decision. The flight would turn back. As exhausted passengers drifted in and out of sleep on the late-night flight, they missed the usual descent announcement. Instead, they were greeted with the unexpected news that the flight was returning. One passenger noted, "We were so close to the East China Sea, almost there, and now we're turning back to Narita. Shanghai was much closer." After the announcement, the cabin filled with shouting, the scene from the start of this story. Frustration was palpable. "It's your fault I can't get home." Anger pointed at one person, the middle-aged man in economy. The plane landed safely at Narita at 10:40 p.m. When the doors opened, Japanese police entered first. An officer asked, "Is it this person?" The attendant confirmed, "Yes." The police told the man, "You need to get off. You've caused trouble for everyone." The once arrogant Chinese man's demeanor shifted instantly upon seeing the Japanese police. Unable to explain himself in Japanese, he asked the woman beside him to translate. But the police were not swayed and quickly escorted him off. All Chinese passengers had to deplane and return to the terminal. Many should have been in Shanghai by then, ready for home, a hot shower, or work the next day. Instead, because of one person, they and passengers from other countries were forced back to the departure point. The feeling was beyond speechless. Don't you think you should kneel? What's the point of living? How do you have the nerve? Don't go back to Shanghai. Just because you have no shame, don't drag us down. Everyone has extra work because of you. How old are you? Didn't your parents teach you anything? Is this fun? How can you make that gesture? Come here if you've got guts. Don't walk away. Still arrogant? Wait until you leave the airport. If you're so rich, why fly economy? Don't close your eyes tonight. On Xiaohongshu, many passengers from the flight couldn't help but vent their frustrations. One passenger was direct in the comments. The troublemaker bought a cheap ticket in row 13. He wanted row 15 but refused the 30 RMB seat change fee. He argued with the crew for 2 hours, causing the flight to turn back. Another passenger added details. He asked to sit with family upon boarding, but their row cost an extra 600 yen. When told to pay, he claimed, "We can sit in free seats if we sit together." The attendant refused, and he started causing a scene. Therefore, switching seats or upgrading required a fee. If he were actually sick, it would be understandable. But arguing for 2 hours over 600 yen, about 30 RMB, is wild. I really admire the crew's patience. After everyone disembarked, they were rebooked for 10 a.m. the next morning, and each passenger received 10,000 yen, about 500 RMB. However, the airline didn't arrange accommodation. Since it was 10:40 p.m., many were forced to stay at the airport, spending the night on chairs. Regarding the outcome, some passengers were content, viewing it as a free ride and a day's wage. But most were unhappy, unable to sleep well. Many criticized Spring Airlines online, claiming a return flight over a seat fee seemed unheard of. Yet, a fellow passenger shared, "You don't know how arrogant he was. I feared the attendants might break down. He kept saying they threatened him." Ultimately, the flight turned back, and he only settled down when police were arriving. Early on December 2, Spring Airlines Japan issued a statement attributing the incident to a passenger's illegal act interfering with safe operations. The airline worked to coordinate the situation, changing the flight to IJ005D, which took off again at 10 a.m. local time. It finally arrived at Shanghai Pudong at 12:40 p.m. Interestingly, according to passengers, the Japanese crew was shocked by the man's words. He told them, "I know your general manager, Wang. Are you okay?" claiming to know Wang of Spring Airlines and threatening a complaint. It's worth noting that Spring Airlines, launched on July 18, 2005, is China's first private low-cost carrier, operating primarily from Shanghai Hongqiao and Pudong airports. Spring Airlines was founded by Wang Zhenghua in 2004, who served as chairman before handing it to his son, Wang Yu. The disruptive passenger, along with many others, may have misunderstood the situation. Spring Airlines Japan, operating between Japan and China, is no longer controlled by Chinese interests. Originally, it was indeed a subsidiary of China's Spring Airlines, established in 2012 as a joint venture with Japan Airlines, with Spring holding the majority. Back then, planes carried the Spring logo, followed their standards, and mainly served Chinese passengers. But in 2020, the pandemic hit, suspending international flights and causing heavy losses for Spring Airlines Japan. Japan Airlines seized the opportunity to increase investment, gaining full control. By June 2021, JAL acquired 67% of shares, dropping Spring Airlines' stake to 33%, a minority shareholder with no management rights. More importantly, management was completely replaced. Current board members are JAL appointees, and crews follow strict JAL safety manuals. In other words, although the plane carries the Spring logo and the website lists Spring Airlines Japan, it is now essentially a standard Japanese airline. The many passengers see Spring Airlines Japan and mistakenly believe it is a Chinese company. They expect the negotiable approach used in China, but in reality, they're dealing with a company following strict Japanese rules. It's like thinking you're in a Chinese restaurant, but the waiter serves Japanese food and demands you use chopsticks by Japanese rules. Confusing, right? This highlights a fundamental difference in service philosophies. In China, the customer is always right. Rules are fixed, but people are flexible. If a seat is empty, what's the harm in sitting there? Moreover, in domestic service industries, businesses might compromise to avoid conflict if you speak louder or act assertive. But in Japan, rules are rules. They aren't for negotiation or causing a scene. Paying for a reserved seat means someone bought the right to it. If you don't pay, sitting there is unfair to others. More importantly, under Japan's aviation law, refusing the captain's orders, causing a disturbance, or interfering with duties constitutes obstructing safe flight. The captain has the right to turn back, and police can arrest you on the spot. This is no joke. Article 73 of Japan's aviation law clearly states violators face a fine of up to 500,000 yen or criminal detention. And it doesn't end there. Back in China, this passenger may be placed on the civil aviation blacklist, preventing ticket purchases for a year or longer. So, was it worth causing a scene over a small seat fee? I want to emphasize that traveling abroad isn't about money or feelings, but understanding the importance of following rules. You may dislike the rules and complain later. But when in that environment, you must comply, because one person's stubbornness could ruin the plans of 136 others. One impulsive action could cost the airline hundreds of thousands. You aren't just representing yourself, but the image of Chinese tourists. The vlogger calculated the airline's losses: extra fuel, landing fees, compensation, overtime, and ground costs. The total loss was at least 5 million yen, roughly 250,000 to 300,000 RMB. Compared to the few dozen yen seat fee, the loss ratio is 5,000 to 1. The vlogger noted this small amount led to a loss of at least 5 million yen, or about 250,000 RMB. On top of that, 136 innocent passengers were forced off, and the flight was canceled. The math just doesn't add up, does it? One person causes trouble and 136 suffer. Among them were likely parents with children, elderly people, and workers rushing home. They did nothing wrong. They just sat in their seats. But because of one person's selfishness, they were forced to spend the night on the airport floor, all for a seat fee costing a few dozen yuan. The vlogger believes Spring Airlines Japan's handling is a lesson for every Chinese airline. The captain accepted a 5 million yen loss to turn back. Why? To send a message. There are no exceptions to the rules. This isn't heartlessness. It's responsibility to the 136 passengers who followed the rules. According to vlogger Xiao Zheng, the disruptive passenger was not detained and was rebooked on Junyao Airlines. A Japanese report stated police questioned him, but the case didn't warrant charges. The vlogger believes that while he avoided legal responsibility, he has faced heavy social media criticism. The vlogger hopes this serves as a lesson. Honestly, people say Chinese are wealthier and more confident now. But based on my decade of travel, I can confidently say our tourist behavior ranks near the bottom worldwide. Incidents like this happen frequently. With social media, we see them occasionally, but many go unseen. So don't blame others when they say their impression of Chinese people is poor. And what I hate hearing most is, our country is so great. What does national prosperity have to do with you? What have you done for the country? Just don't embarrass the country abroad. I don't want to hear you're Chinese. Being called a fellow countryman by you doesn't make me happy. It's scary that those embarrassing us abroad are often the same ones shouting, "I love my country" online. You claim to love it, but you make us a disgrace. The vlogger noted, it's 2025 and planes still turn back because people insist on sitting together. Isn't that surreal? They talk about rising power. Please just sit down and stop embarrassing yourselves. Many left comments on the video. One asked, why expect this on a budget airline? Buy business class. Another noted uncivilized behavior is common domestically too. Mr. Wang, a Malaysian Chinese, stated China has ancient traditions of virtue and courtesy. Before the CCP, Chinese were known for courtesy. But the CCP destroyed traditional culture through movements like the Cultural Revolution, especially with the brainwashing of little pink nationalists. Behavior abroad has tarnished the image of Chinese people. She finds this sad and embarrassing for overseas communities. However, this isn't the true nature of Chinese people. It is the CCP's fault. The party does not represent the people. She said, it's important to make this distinction. Not all Chinese are bad. Many are trying to reclaim traditions, like Falun Gong practitioners. Lastly, due to rising tensions over Taiwan, the Chinese Foreign Ministry urged citizens to avoid traveling to Japan. Yet, queues at Shanghai Pudong remained long, with passengers stating, politics has nothing to do with me. As pressure increased, travel agencies suspended Japan packages, and airlines canceled flights, causing prices to soar. Many citizens revealed their tickets were forcibly canceled by authorities, not by choice. Recently, a Japan Today reporter found that while Chinese tourist numbers dropped, international visitors haven't. Popular spots in Kyoto remain crowded. Analysts believe the CCP thought political intervention would hurt Japan, but Japan is attracting more global tourists. Locals may feel that fewer morally compromised, brainwashed tourists is actually beneficial. Meanwhile, many Chinese people have lost the opportunity to experience Japanese culture and purchase high-quality products. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis from China Uncovered. Thank you for watching.